Hello and welcome to Kickoff with Casey. My name's Casey Patrick, and we've got a little bit of college football to talk about. There's been a few bowl games since we last spoke. I know that last Saturday I got to watch a few games. One of the best games of the day was the BYU comeback to beat Georgia Tech 25-21. Both LSU and Missouri, both teams fall. Pretty close games there. We'll talk about all that. And also, this will be the last episode of Kickoff with Casey. With college football season starting to wrap up, we're going to change our direction. We may look for something else, a different show. I don't know exactly what the future plans might be, but we'll keep y'all posted on that. But we've got plenty of football to talk about, so let's get into it. So, as I just alluded to, this will be the last episode. I just want to say a few things before we move on. First of all, I just want to say thank you to everybody that watched it. I love the opportunity to spew out my opinion anyway, especially something about college football, which is something that I care about. That's something I enjoy watching. Being given the opportunity to do this as a career is crazy. I love this. It is a wonderful opportunity. I want to say thanks to Dave Gould, Ellen Gould, everybody else at Main Street Media, especially Kara Aguilar, who is she's behind the scenes. She produces a lot of the stuff, basically everything I'm pretty sure that I've got going on. So a lot of people that I really want to thank helping me get this show out every week. Because again, I mean, I love this. This is fun for me. I get to talk a little bit of football, whether it's 2 or 3 people watching or 2 or 3 million. And I know it's not that many, but it doesn't really matter to me. I kind of hope that a lot of people watch it because I just like to interact with people, especially when it comes to football or whatever we all think. But I'm really, really blessed to have this opportunity to get up here and do this, and I enjoy it. I enjoy the heck out of it, and hopefully it won't take us too long to figure out, where the direction's going to turn to, what we're going to do next. I'm not sure. Haven't given it too much thought. Still trying to get through college football season right now. But speaking of that, we do have plenty of football to get into, but just wanted to let y'all know this is the last episode of Kickoff with Casey, and I appreciate each and every one of you that came in every week. I know I missed a little bit of time there, but I appreciate each and every one of you that stop by every week to watch. And until next time, we'll see you then. And like I said, I'll keep you boys and girls posted and updated on whatever the next move might be. So who knows what we're going to come up with over at Main Street Media, but let's get on into the football. That Georgia Tech BYU game, that was actually one of the more entertaining games to watch on Saturday, I thought. Which we did a lot of going back and forth. I think there was like a high school basketball showcase on. I want to say that, we may have even found like a golf replay. I tell you what, Saturday, I was over at Eric's house, and we were just combing through all the channels, just watching whatever popped up. And even for a minute on, I think it was MLB Network, they had the broadcast of 1956 Game 5 of the World Series, Don Larson's perfect game. Me and Eric, we actually stopped, and I think we watched one at bat. It's hard to watch baseball from 70 years ago. Not that the players weren't awesome, but the black and white camera angles and stuff, it's kind of hard to really tell what's going on. But we watched a little bit of everything on Saturday. Now, I did get to watch most of the BYU Georgia Tech game, and it was, in my opinion, one of the more entertaining games to watch on Saturday. Georgia Tech looked like, I'll be honest, at the beginning, both teams were kind of feeling their way through the game. I think they were trying to figure out kind of who they were. the first few minutes of that game, I felt like BYU looked a lot stronger. And then Georgia Tech kind of, they bowed up and they started playing the way Brent Key wants them to play. I felt like Georgia Tech played really strong second quarter, third quarter, and they ended up, I think they were up 21-7 or something, 21-6 going into that final quarter. And man, BYU just come flying back. And I kind of felt bad, they. Not that I care one way or the other. I wasn't really rooting for or against either one of those two teams, but they interviewed the Georgia Tech coach Brent Key right before the fourth quarter, and they walked up to him and they said, "Coach Key, this is the last time you're going to be out here with your quarterback Haynes King. Haynes King's obviously meant a lot to that program." The interviewer asked Coach Key, they said, what do you want to see out of Haynes King in this final quarter? And you could tell that Coach Brent Key he got a little bit emotional. He wasn't like crying or nothing, but you could tell, I don't think there's anything wrong with crying, but you can tell that one thing, that feeling that you get, and you're not necessarily crying or just bawling your eyes out, but when you think about something or you have this whole thought process where it just makes you happy for a whole second. It gives you something to really think about, be thankful for. And in that moment, you could tell that Coach Key was really thankful for the opportunity that he got to coach Haynes King. And Haynes King has meant a lot to that program. They've won a lot of games, come from behind games. They've won big games in the ACC over teams that they ain't beaten in a long time. You could tell in that moment that Haynes King meant a lot to Coach Key. And that's the only reason I really hated the fact that Georgia Tech lost, because Coach Key, he said, I just, just Haynes be Haynes. That's all he wanted to see out of him. And I really thought there for a minute, Tech got that ball back with not a whole lot of time in there at the end of the game. And Haynes King ended up throwing an interception in the end zone with, I think, 18 seconds to go or something. I may be off on that. Fact check me there. But, he got him close. He got him down there, and it looked like, for the 30th or 40th time in his career, Haynes King was going to pull a rabbit out of a hat. But BYU, a lot of credit to them. I forget the name of their coach. He looks Hawaiian or Samoan almost. And I hope that's not incorrect. I'd hate for that to be offensive. I didn't mean for that to be if it was. But they've had a really great year. They're a win over Texas Tech from being in the playoff. So they've had a great year, a really good football team. And like I said, the first few minutes of that game, I really thought BYU was going to just punch them in the face. But then Georgia Tech bowed up. And you had, honestly, all four quarters were good. But the first three quarters, I really felt like it was a pretty good football game. But Georgia Tech they were better. They looked like the better team. But BYU, to their credit, come back there at the end and get the comeback win. LSU had Barian Brown took the opening kickoff for a touchdown. He almost returned another touchdown on kickoff later. He had a big catch. Barian Brown was massive for LSU. But again, this is one of those games where the first few minutes I thought, man, LSU might pull away from Houston. But to Houston's credit, they bowed up. They kind of put that line in the sand and they held themselves there. And again, I went back and I didn't get to see a lot of that game, but I went back and watched the highlights. And it was just kind of surprising to me because it felt like every time you looked up, it looked like LSU was going to, finally really start to pull away. But then Houston would just make a play. Stay in the game, and then ended up winning. I think they were actually up even 10, maybe 14 points at the end of the game. LSU had a late score, I think, to close it, but 38-35, a heck of a season for Houston. Also, and I've said this probably 3 or 4 times now, some of the best jerseys in the entire country. Missouri, Virginia. Now, I know last week when we talked about that Miami, Texas A&M 10-3 game, I told y'all that wasn't really good defense and that was bad offenses. I'm going to tell you right now, this Missouri-Virginia game, that was 2 pretty good defenses. Now, I don't think the offenses played as well as you wanted them to, but Virginia's offense, quarterback Chandler Morris, who, and we'll talk about North Texas in a minute, but he was North Texas quarterback last year. I felt like Virginia and Missouri both, the defenses were better than the offenses anyway, but I felt like the defenses played really, really well. A lot of tackles in space. It felt like guys making plays when they needed to, especially one-on-one, outside in space, linebackers or corners or defensive backs on a ball carrier. Just really good defenses making really good plays. That was much more of a defensive battle than that 10-3 fiasco between Miami and Texas A&M. That was boring to me, and I don't care. I don't care what anybody says. But the SEC losing both of those games, it is interesting though, because when you go back and you look at it, it's like the number 7 team in the SEC plays the number 2 team from this conference. And I am an SEC guy. I'm one of those SEC homers. I don't necessarily root for the SEC over other teams, because if it was up to me, I would love to watch every other SEC team lose every game in every sport possible if they're not the University of Tennessee. So I don't root for them, but I do believe that the SEC actually does develop players at a higher level. I think sports, basketball, baseball, football, all of them in the SEC are being played at a higher level, my personal opinion, than other conferences across the country, by and large, as a whole conference, from top to bottom. I think the SEC is the best conference in basically all the major sports. And I mean, you could argue whatever you wanted here or there, but again, the number 7 team from the SEC is playing the number 2 or 3 team from other conferences. So, but kudos to Virginia, who again, I think they were 1 win away from being in the college football playoff, and they ended up playing 8-4 Missouri. What's that tell you? And then what was the other game we were just talking about? BYU, which they didn't. This has nothing to do with the SEC, but BYU, they were 1 win away as well. But LSU, Missouri, Virginia, North Texas, San Diego State, 49-47. I want to say this game was like 49-28 with like 10 minutes to go. And I'm pretty sure San Diego State scored a flurry of points in like 10 minutes to make this game freaky at the end. But 96 points between 2 teams sounds like a lot of fun, just throwing the ball around, 49-47. Like I said, big win for North Texas. This is something, I just thought about this. We're going to talk about this real quick because I do have to fill out some time here. They said something interesting during that North Texas game. The quarterback, Metzenmeyer, whatever his name was, he broke Chandler Morris's record. Chandler Morris is the quarterback now at Virginia. But Metzenmeyer broke Morris's record for passing touchdowns in a season. And, they're talking about how big of a year this kid had. And the commentator for ESPN said, yeah, now he gets to hit the portal and he gets his payday. And I'm not mad at the commentator for saying it because he's right. But I hate it for North Texas. Because now, look, at North Texas is going to put up 40 points a game apparently for the rest of the time. And every year a quarterback's going to leave and go somewhere else. That is the portal era of football. That is what we have. We have reached a point of no return, I feel like. I'm not sure if you can really do anything about it. But the idea that these guys, I mean, you know, North Texas, if they'd have had any defense, apparently they could have played with anybody this year. I mean, they're giving up 47 to San Diego State, so they're obviously not that great. But they scored 49 and they averaged 40, so they're doing a lot of things right. And if you're a quarterback that's not getting – if you're a high school quarterback that's not getting the type of views you want from these top-tier schools, go to North Texas, throw for 3,500 yards, 35 touchdowns, and get you a big payday and go somewhere else. I hate that that's what we've become, but it's so obvious. It's just what it is. North Texas is a development program, which is crazy because, I mean, they were a few wins away from being in the college football playoff. Realistically, you know, I mean, if they're undefeated, win their conference, they're going to be in. But either way, North Texas, 49 points. I mean, and I think they had 49 in the third quarter. So, I mean, they're just running up and down the field. And then I wrote this down, and I'm not real sure why. Penn State beat Clemson 22-10. I feel sorry for you if you wasted your time watching that game. That was boring. Because those, don't get me wrong, those defenses are good. Those defenses played really good because of how bad the offensive lines were. And I only watched 10 minutes of that game. And that was more than I really wanted to watch. To be honest with you. I mean, because it was bad. It was bad. The Dabo Swinney era in Clemson, I think it about ran its course. Of course, the James Franklin era did run its course. They talked about Matt Campbell and what he wants to do at Penn State. I wish Matt Campbell the best, but I don't care for Penn State, so maybe not. We're going to take our first commercial. Y'all make sure you don't go anywhere. What we're going to do is when we get back, we're going to talk about the upcoming bowl games, which we've got, look, it looks like 8, 11, 12 games left. And then we're gonna go to our last commercial, and then when we get back, we'll talk about the college football playoff and all of that. So, if you will, stay with me, and when we get back, we're going to talk about the rest of these bowl games. Thank you.
He shoots, and he scores! Yeah!
Got closer. All new Sportsbook, the latest gaming machines, live horse racing, and more. The Mid Gaming Hall, Kentucky Downs.
Winning just got closer.
At Delta Dental of Tennessee, we know our success begins and ends with providing superior quality service, and that includes serving those who need it most. This year, we're celebrating 25 years of giving back to the community we call home. Delta Dental, along with our Smile 180 Foundation, supports Tennessee's dental colleges and oral health education, children's hospitals, free and reduced cost dental clinics, and other like-minded charities. Here's to the next 25 plus years of ensuring healthy smiles.
Welcome back to Kickoff with Casey. My name's Casey Patrick. We're going to start with these bowl games real quick. Just now, there was one, of course, as y'all know it, I record this on Monday night. It goes live, or it goes out on Wednesday. So Monday today, they had the Birmingham Bowl. Georgia Southern defeated Appalachian State 29-10. Tuesday, which again, it's kind of bad we don't get to talk about the game, or at least review the game. But y'all will see all this on Wednesday. But Tuesday, we've got Tennessee versus Illinois, the Music City Bowl at 4:30. I'm not going to that game. I was invited by a few people. It's just way too cold. There's no way. I'm not going out there. I'm going to sit at Eric's house on the recliner, on the couch in the heat. I may actually sit in the recliner because it's closer to the stove, the heat stove. But I'm going to stay warm on Tuesday. We're not doing this cold weather stuff. Coastal Carolina versus Louisiana Tech in the Independence Bowl. That's going to be 1 p.m. on Tuesday. USC versus TCU, Alabama Bowl. That's the Alamo Bowl. That's 8 p.m. on Tuesday night. Wednesday, when this comes out, which this usually drops about 1:30. So it's going to be about halftime of the Iowa-Vanderbilt game, the Rely Quest Bowl. That's the early game on Wednesday. And then 1 o'clock, Arizona State and Duke playing the Sun Bowl. It really feels like Arizona State's got an unfair advantage there because, they're the Sun Devils. It is the Sun Bowl. I assume it's somewhere near Arizona. I probably should have looked that up. Another big game, which both of these games on Wednesday are kind of big, but I think the big game, you got Iowa-Vanderbilt early. So one of the big games is Michigan versus Texas in the Citrus Bowl. That'll be at 2 o'clock. And then Nebraska versus Utah in the Las Vegas Bowl at 2:30. Now, again, the next round of the college football bracket games, they're going to be Wednesday. There's one Wednesday night and then 3 on Thursday. We're going to talk about that as well, but that's not necessarily the bowl games that we're talking about here. So, moving on to the rest of the bowl games, Friday, January 2nd, this will be the last day of the bowl games that aren't the college football bracket. Rice versus Texas State in the Armed Forces Bowl. Again, this is Friday. Navy versus Cincinnati in the Liberty Bowl, which I'm assuming is still in Memphis. Wake Forest versus Mississippi State in the Mayo Bowl. That's at 7 p.m. The Liberty Bowl's at 3:30. And then Arizona versus SMU in the Holiday Bowl at 7 p.m. as well. Now, before we go to the commercial, and that's all the bowl games. That's all the bowl games other than the college football bracket. But before we go to our last commercial, I was gonna preview a little bit about this Tennessee-Illinois game. I don't know. I'm going to start out with this. And because I know this has been a really popular talking point with everybody. The Diego Pavia lawsuit, he's going to try and get another year. If he gets his year, then that means Joey Aguilar for Tennessee may get another year. There's quite a few other guys that would end up getting another year of eligibility. I'm going to be honest with y'all. I don't want to hurt nobody's feelings. I don't care if these guys get another year. I think after a long enough period of time, I feel like it's probably time that it's okay to go ahead and move on to the next thing. And I think, there may be a possibility that players like Pavia or Aguilar know that the longer they stay in college, the better they can get, the more prepared they can get for a chance in the NFL, which is fine. That's great, and I don't wish them any bad luck on that end at all. But I guess I'm one of the few people, and I know I'm in the minority here, but I'm one of the few people that's okay with just going ahead and let's just go ahead and let the 25-year-olds go on. They don't need another year of eligibility. And I say all that to say this, because again, the Tennessee-Illinois game, I kind of want to see what George McIntyre looks like. Merklinger's already hit the portal. I'm pretty sure he's gone. I would love to see what McIntyre could do. Let him run wild. Let him go crazy. Call an offense full of nonsense. Did I write it down? It's the Music City Bowl. I was there last time when we lost to Purdue on a touchdown. We were in the end zone. I was in that end zone. I watched us score, and they said we didn't. The Music City Bowl before that we were in, we got screwed against North Carolina. Who cares? Probably going to get screwed this time against Illinois. Who cares? Throw McIntyre out there, let him throw the ball 55 times. And throw 45 bombs. I don't care. And I like Aguilar. I think he's an awesome guy. I think Tennessee was truly blessed to have him as quarterback, because when when you lose Nico the way we lost him, and then you kind of just have to go with whatever you've got, it would have been easy, if he would have been any type of a butthole at all, or mean or rude or anything like that, it would have been really, really easy to hate the guy before he ever got out on the field. And because I tried to, which is not right. It's not a good thing to do. I came into the season thinking it's going to be a miracle if we win 7 or 8 games. And I think what Joey Aguilar did at quarterback for Tennessee Volunteers this year is nothing less of miraculous. I just think that there's a lot of guys that, they're almost old enough that they can't be on their parents' insurance anymore. Probably don't need to be playing college athletics. Just my opinion. If Aguilar gets another year, cool. But I'm okay if he doesn't. And that kind of leads into the point where I'd like to see McIntyre. I think the defense has already had 4 or 5 guys that have they've committed to the draft, or whatever you want to call it. They're going into the draft. They're going to go to the NFL. Good luck to them. No, I have no ill will towards them at all. But that means you've got, some younger guys. Let's throw them out there. Throw them into the fire. It's a Music City Bowl. We've lost it to North Carolina. We've lost it to Purdue. It didn't matter. Throw these guys out there. Throw them into the Wolves, and let's see what we've got. But we're going to go to our last commercial. When y'all get back, we're going to talk about this college football bracket and how I think it's going to finish out. So don't go anywhere.
At Delta Dental of Tennessee, we know our success begins and ends with providing superior quality service, and that includes serving those who need it most. This year, we're celebrating 25 years of giving back to the community we call home. Delta Dental, along with our Smile 180 Foundation, supports Tennessee's dental colleges and oral health education, children's hospitals, free and reduced cost dental clinics, and other like-minded charities. Here's to the next 25 plus years of ensuring healthy smiles.
He shoots, and he scores!
Got closer. All new Sportsbook, the latest gaming machines, live horse racing, and more. The Mid-Gaming Hall, Kentucky Downs.
Winning just got closer.
Welcome back to Kickoff with Casey. My name's Casey Patrick. And just real quick, we've just got a few minutes, but I'm just going to run through the rest of this college football bracket. We have, Oregon and Texas Tech. We had the Christmas party for the Creekwood bowling team that I helped coach, and so I've consumed way too many goodies, and it's bothering me, so I apologize. But we've got Oregon, Texas Tech. That's going to be January 1st, so that's Thursday at 11. Oregon, Texas Tech, Alabama, Indiana. That game's also January 1st. It's going to be Thursday at 3. And then the late game Thursday is Ole Miss, Georgia. And then the only college football bracket game on Wednesday, there are other games on Wednesday, but this is the only one pertaining to the football playoff, is Miami versus Ohio State. And that'll be 6:30. I'm pretty sure there's a game that is earlier Wednesday. There's a bunch of games that are earlier. But the last game that starts on Wednesday is like 2:30. So that should probably be over right about the time that Miami and Ohio State kicks off. Now, that's going to be Wednesday night, Miami and Ohio State. The winner of Miami and Ohio State will face Ole Miss and Georgia. Now, of course, on the other end of that bracket, the winner of Oregon and Texas Tech will face Alabama and Indiana. Oregon's 2.5-point favorites. Indiana 7-point favorites. So that shows me that Vegas thinks it's going to be Oregon versus Indiana. And then they've got Georgia beating Ole Miss. Georgia 6.5-point favorites, and Ole Miss 9.5-point favorites, which I think I told you guys sounds pretty good. I think Ohio State wins that by 13, 14 points. But so this looks like it could be Ohio State versus Georgia. So that type of bracket would show you Oregon, Indiana, Georgia, Ohio State. Which is interesting because I'm not real sure who wins between Indiana and Oregon. I think I take Indiana. They're undefeated. I know they've been great all year. I don't mean to doubt Kurt Cignetti, but I think Indiana takes that. Ohio State, Georgia, to me, that's the national championship. If that's what you get, if that's what the next round of games is, Ohio State and Georgia, I think the winner of that game is your national champion. I think those are the two best teams. I understand that Indiana beat Ohio State. I might be wrong that Indiana might be better than Ohio State. I know that they've had the opportunity to show it, and they showed it. There's just a part of me that I'm afraid to believe it. I want Indiana to be better. I want Indiana to win the national championship. And I don't think they will. I don't think they will. I want you to. If you're watching it, Coach Cignetti, I want you to win. Go out there and get one for the little guy. Ohio State's got $50 billion on their roster. You got to go beat Alabama first. Go take down the evil empire. You get to take them down. Indiana, we're on your side. All of America is behind you on this little run you're going to go on. I mean, listen. I don't think all of these teams have large fan bases, plenty of people that are rooting for them. But if you're not already a fan of somebody here and you're looking for somebody to root for, Oregon's never won a national title. I could see rooting for them, no big deal. Texas Tech, they're one of the underdogs here too. I know that they had a bye, but they had a bye and they're not even predicted to win. Indiana was like 2-10 48 months ago. Well, it's not even that many. 36 months ago. That's crazy. You look at the rest of the Ole Miss. Ole Miss is another one. Hey, you could, if you wanted to root for somebody a team that we've seen Georgia win. For Miami, it's been a while. We've seen Ohio State won last year. Alabama wins all the time. Maybe we get somebody new. Maybe we get some fresh blood this year. I'm looking forward to it. I'd love to see anybody new do it. I'd love to, man, especially like Oregon, Indiana, Texas Tech, any of those three teams. I'd love to see one of them do it. Folks, that's it for me. We've ran through it. I've talked long enough. Again, I want to appreciate each and every one of you that are here watching right now, and any of you that may have watched throughout the entire year. I really do love this. I love the opportunity, the chance, everything that I've gotten to do with my job. I'm not as grateful as I should be, but this is one of the coolest things in the world. So we'll figure out what else we got coming. We'll get another show maybe, or another little podcast style something going. You guys know I can't keep my opinion to myself for too long. But thank you, everybody. Y'all stay warm out there and catch you some football. We'll see you around.